Hello everyone, Resonance here, and welcome to Empires Apart! Empires Apart is a new, old-school, classic-style RTS game with a few twists, but on a modern engine, and it is now purchasable on Steam. The goal of this video series is to briefly go over each of the 6 completely unique civilizations in the game, to help you decide which civilization best fits your own personal playstyle, because in this game, there's an archetype for everyone. There's a full playlist that you can find below, and as always, I really appreciate your support. To keep it short, Empires Apart has the classic 4-resource economy system with the ability to micromanage workers, place buildings wherever you want, and it follows the overall gameplay formula that you'd expect, but with more balanced random maps and more complex unit designs. As core though, Empires Apart definitely has its own identity because of the many interesting twists and additions it brings. And remember, every civilization in Empires Apart is completely different from the others. And so, let's talk a bit about the Byzantines. So the Byzantines are classified as a well-rounded and defensive civilization with a strong economy, infantry, and cavalry. In the early game, the Byzantines rely on their powerful basic infantry unit to either attack or defend, as the unit stats are very respectable at the start of a match. Once the game reaches its middle point, the Byzantines are extremely adaptable, and capable of dealing with almost any situation if played carefully. As the Byzantines, you always want to be assessing the situation and carefully choosing what units to counter your opponent with, or just to go on the defensive and take full advantage of your entire economic tech tree. The Byzantines are capable of consistently adapting at all stages of the game, but they do get an additional power spike in the late game due to their strong unit combo synergies. The Byzantines' unique mechanic is called Disrupt, and it completely changes the way that you look at the civilization and how you use their units. Their basic infantry unit and their cavalry archers' attacks can both apply a debuff to enemy units called Disrupt that lasts for 3 seconds, and its duration is refreshed on hit. If a friendly Byzantines melee cavalry unit attacks a disrupted enemy unit, then your attack does double damage, and then Disrupt cannot be reapplied to that same unit for 3 seconds. In English, this means that carefully microing and utilizing their elite warrior infantry unit, so not the spearmen, and or utilizing their cavalry archers will lead to frequent double damage attacks from your own melee cavalry. Or as I like to reference, that's a lot of damage, and there's no amount of flex tape that can patch up your army after it's been disrupted, if you know what I'm saying. But keep in mind, you can actually micro around Disrupt by building counter units, and the Byzantines are also missing the final 2 stat upgrades to their ranged units and their military techs. Also, in Empires Apart, you can pick which hero you want to use during that game when you select your civilization, and they all encourage vastly different playstyles. The Byzantines get both Alexios Komnenos. This guy's name, I'm telling you, during recording was the bane of my existence. And Flavius Belisarius. Wait, or is it Flavius? I'm just gonna call him Belisarius. For the Byzantines specifically, if there's any demand for it, I plan to do a separate, more in-depth overview video that you'll be able to find a link to at the end of this video or in the video description below. But for this quick series, we're only going to be talking about the civilization in the broadest sense to keep it short and approachable. So anyway, all heroes are powerful late game units with a single active ability on a cooldown and a passive ability as well. Belisarius grants you heavy, yet flexible military bonuses, so he fits perfectly into the Byzantines' theme of being adaptable to any situation. For example, his active ability is called Deception, and it creates an army of fake units that can't deal any damage, but they look exactly like real heavy infantry units to your opponent. They can, however, do one thing that is extremely flavorful for our friend Flavius. His decoys can disrupt the enemy, both figuratively and literally in this game. Nice! Lastly, his passive ability is that if he dies while he is very close to specifically a nearby veteran cataphract from the stable, Belisarius doesn't die, instead replaces that cataphract unit. So Belisarius is the type of hero that you should pick if you enjoy playing military mind games with your opponent and prefer to shift strategies late game and go on the offensive once you're all built up. Alexios is far more straightforward, and is an economic hero with a fairly large aura that he can toggle on and off. When Alexios is nearby villagers, and his aura is in its passive form, it boosts the gathering speed and movement speed of all nearby friendly villagers in his range, to really boost your economy. He also starts gaining leadership while nearby villagers. He can then later spend that leadership that he accumulates with his active ability, disabling his economy boost and instead giving nearby friendly military units extra armor and attack. Alexios is the type of hero that you should pick if you prefer flexibility and a stronger economy. Normally in this section, I'd briefly mention the Byzantines fortress unit, but it will be coming in a future patch soon as it's currently being balance tested. The fortress unit will be a powerful and expensive late game heavy cavalry unit with a special, unique ability. And so, to wrap things up, every civilization has a priest/monk unit that plays a very distinct role, and the Byzantines have one that boosts the efficiency of nearby friendly villagers, and it even stacks twice if you have 2 priests. The Byzantines also have a unique siege weapon, the ballista, which has superior range to the mangonel, and as a release, deals damage in a cone behind the primary target. They also have excellent late game defenses, being the only civilization of 6 that can upgrade its defensive tower building twice. The goal with the Byzantines is to try and get to the late game through clever use of your diverse counter units, defensive buildings, and economy bonuses, to then create a mixed army designed to disrupt the enemy and conquer them with your superior tech tree. If you like a well-rounded civilization that's good throughout the entire game and favors strong unit synergies, then you'll definitely like playing as the Byzantines in Empires Apart.